D Brown here. Stories from summer of 2026. All right, the showcases and just you know stories that I'm hearing. All right, from different parents, travel ball coaches, and college coaches. All right. Um, One of the things that I've noticed is it's happening in the last couple of years, but it really hit me hard. Conversation I had with one of my boys. I've known him for a long time. He runs his own travel program in Atlanta area, and he came to me asking me this question the other day. It was like, "Yo, Um, now I had kids in my program that was physically there at the World Bat, and I'm just talking about this particular showcases, but this I feel like this is going on in a lot of different places. So they were saying how it was less coaches. Now I played in it in the past. I've coached in there, and I've seen a lot of college coaches, and depending on who was playing, matchups and all of that, right? But one of the things that has changed, and I've heard it from parents that have kids in there and coaches that are there, like it's less and less coaches coming. A couple of things: stuff is watered down, or and it's just a different game now. Going to the Power Four schools, going to these WWE, and they be there. They may be coming to the 20, 2 years away type players and all of that are really high level. They're there, but as a whole, especially Division One coaches, I found that a lot of them, where they were going? To Northwoods. They're going to go to the Cape. Like that's where all the Division One coaches are going now. I talked to one of my boys over there, Florida University of Florida assistant coach, a few years ago. He was the first one that kind of put me onto this, and I was like, he's at the Cape, and he was like, yo, D, I'm at the Cape right now, and let me call you back, whatever. I was like, all right, cool. And so, but I'm like, why are you at the Cape? I said, you got some players that are looking, my thinking, on my naive way of like thinking that, okay, he got a couple of his players that are performing out there trying to get drafted for the next year. And, that's what the mindset I was coming from. But then he was like, nah, D, like, we're, we're recruiting, for Florida, like, guys here. And I'm like, hey, really? I was like, at the Cape. Now it's kind of common, but this was 3 years ago, maybe. And I was like, I get it. I get it. I said, so not only are these guys going to the Cape to see their guys, they're making sure they're keeping their guys. And then they're also recruiting other high level kids from the Cape. The Cape used to be nothing but pro guys, right? That was the place where pro scouts would come to see the ball players that are, essentially knocking on the door to the major leagues next draft year. Now you got Power Four schools coming there and Division One schools in general coming there to pluck players away. All right, and so that is where we're at right now. And so the the difference now is that the Northwoods now, those leagues down there right now are filled with college coaches, not going on the high school, tournaments and showcases where these college coaches used to be. They're gone. They're all going to Northwoods right now. College showcase because of the transfer portal. The times are different, man. How do you approach it as a high school parent? You still need to hit up the showcases. You still need to go to these big time showcases, and like game wise. But your mindset has to be different. And going to those times that you could feel like, man, the WWBA, the one in Hoover, some of these ones in Florida, like that are going to be all these coaches. Yes, they're still there, okay, but your mindset, your strategy has to change. Who you play for, who you play against is a big thing too. All right, because of I started seeing it. I mean, this was years ago. Now I think about it. Um, when you start seeing, you heard so much about the I'm just saying this WWBA, but there's other ones too that are like high level, but like going on I remember when I had my 14-year-old team. I had about 5 or 6 Division One athletes on there, and I also had Kalen Culpepper, who became a first round pick a couple years ago. He was on that team, and there was Division One. You know, at a 14-year-old, 14U WWBA game, there were Division One coaches there. We were playing East Cobb Astros, some of the big time programs there, and they were there. And so, you know, those days I don't see them. All right, I haven't been to a 14-year-old. You know what I'm saying, WWBA no more. I don't even know if they still have them. I'm sure they do. I should know that, but again, my strategy has changed. Like, I ain't taking 14-year-olds and all of that now because it's just different now. These guys are not committing. Like, you can't even do it now. Can't even talk to you till going to your senior year. Sorry, to your junior year. So how do from a lesson standpoint, from a parent standpoint, the expectations need to change just a tad. I'm still a believer of the big showcases. It's two or three that I really believe in with multiple schools from different levels. Keep your grades up, right? The higher your grades, the better opportunities for you for more schools to play. All right. Those things haven't changed. But if you feel like you're just a power four and Division One athlete from high school, man, whew, good luck to you, man. Right now, I see on the Division One level, especially the higher it goes, okay? The good mid-major programs up to Division One, to the Power Four, high school wise, pitchers and catchers, man. Now you gotta be a stud that be in any other position over there to get some high school love. Yeah, LSU, they're gonna, get cream of the crop, still give a good mix. And I know the assistant coach over there, we talked about that. They keep a good mix, but you're talking about some of these high school kids that are potential top 3 round guys, But as a whole, if you're a solid high school player that 5, 6 years ago could have had a Power Four opportunity, now, nah, dude, it ain't that no more. A whole different approach you need to take to this. My thing is, if you know the formula, I feel like I'm an LSU player. I feel like I'm a Power Four player. I feel like I'm a Division One player. I take my butt to JUCO or Division Two or Three, get into the Northwoods, and then essentially do your thing. I got a player right now in Northwoods, and he is right now. He's doing well. I couldn't get the Power Four schools to give him love over there, and he was in the JUCO, but he's dealing out there now. Now he has Division One schools and all that because he's playing against other Division One athletes. Half the damn league is portal kids. You know what I'm saying? So all those coaches are out there, and he's getting the love that back in the day he would have got if he put up those numbers in junior college. Now he probably would have got the love there too, but he's using the Northwoods now and balling, and he's not the only one. There's 2 or 3 kids that I know personally. I've either coach or in my program in general that are using the Northwoods like they're supposed to now. Different from back in the day, the Northwoods, and my same dad that I was talking to, same coach friend of mine, my boy was telling me his son played in the Northwoods back in the day, and he was saying like, yeah, nah, there were no college coaches out there like that. A few scouts here and there, but now it's bombarded with college coaches over there. It's the new age game that we're in. Get somewhere you can play right away. Get on the field, put up numbers, go play in the Capes and the Northwoods and all of that type of stuff, and then eventually, if you're good enough, and you're in the portal, you get your ultimate goal. Those are strategies you need to use. Holler at me if you can disagree. Holler at me if you do agree. If you need a plan, or you just want better, more help and understanding. Holler at me.